Risky Rain 2 is a fast-paced action roguelike, similar to Blackjack. In this game you kill things using your preferred survivor's kit, along with an extensive amount of items, which work off of each other to do this. I say survivor in quotes, because this is not fighting for survival. This is a genocide. I chose to stay on this planet. I chose to repeat this cycle over and over. I chose to kill that entire bloodline of creatures. With that out of the way, I want to talk about this game's controversial DLC. I won't delve into the political situation at Gearbox, and I won't talk about this DLC's questionable launch. There are bugs, but for the most part, I haven't really experienced them, because I waited before buying this DLC for 2 big bug fixes before succumbing to my inner consumer. Hopefully in the future, Gearbox will clear the jank when it comes to this DLC, and whatever game-breaking bugs remain, but until then, game is game, unless you're on Xbox. There's going to be some spoilers, as I'm going to cover literally everything in this DLC, but before you click off, like, subscribe, mute the video, change the speed to 0.25, and play the video on loop in another tab. Now that the fake viewers are gone, let's discuss Seekers of the Storm. Seekers of the Storm is Risk of Rain's second DLC, and it adds 3 new survivors, 6 new stages, 3 monsters with 2 elite variations for all monsters, a single boss, and 16 items. Oh, there's also a piece of equipment, technically 2, but it's just another version of an already existing item, and that's pretty much the DLC. Now odds are, you're buying this DLC for the survivors, and that's perfectly fine, because survivors are fun, and now we have new ones. It's also the best part of the DLC. This DLC adds 3 of them, which is more than the 2 from Survivors of the Void. But how good are they, and how do they compare to the Void survivors? To start off with, let's discuss Seeker. This is the character we get as soon as we boot up the game, and it's great. Its standard attack is a set of spirit punches, which launch a projectile an unnaturally short amount of distance. I guarantee that at some stage whilst using this character, you will find yourself genuinely tweaking over a singular wisp. Oh, also the third punch explodes and does extra damage. For the secondary, we have 2 attacks. One that's alright, and another that will be discussed later. Seeker's standard secondary is called Unseen Hand, and it launches a fist out of the ground that stuns and damages enemies. Oh, you also get a little healing for it too. Pretty cool crowd control, pretty cool attack. Moving on. Sojourn? Sojourn? I don't know how to pronounce it. Sojourn is pretty cool. It's pretty much a free volcanic egg, allowing you to be invincible whilst traversing the map. Its downside? Well, you aren't really invincible, and your health is getting melted right as I speak, but at least enemies can't touch you. And finally, we have quick time events. Each time you do this, you get a little bit of healing, and this pedal fills up. Do this 7 times, and you can resurrect the dead. This resurrect can only be done on other players, which makes this ability useless for 99% of Risk of Rain players who have no friends. I hate this. I don't want to do this 7 times per stage, just so I can play this guy. Alright, to recap, we have a survivor with alright damage, movement, and healing. Easy A tier. But wait. Balls. Seeker's second secondary attack is more than good. So good in fact that it's the only way that you should be playing this character. Soul Spiral works by right-clicking to spawn in a ball. This ball spins around you, doing damage and healing you. Normally a ball can hit stuff 10 times before being deleted, but by having all the petals filled up, a ball can hit something 23 times before breaking. We can stack up to 7 of these balls, and any more makes them go crazy. This pairs really well with the Sojourn ability, allowing you to stay in this form whilst the balls continue to spin. And as long as you're hitting things, you won't cook up and die. To properly play this character, we will get max stacks of petals, then simply spawn as many balls as you can. Summon the teleporter boss, and spin anti-clockwise. Ensure that you're spinning in this direction, otherwise you will do no damage and die. We can pair this character with focus crystals and armor platings, so we can reduce the amount of cancer contracted from being the literal sun, whilst doing more damage. Seeker's a very unique character, pretty powerful, but if I wanted to do this, I'd play Fortnite Festival or Helldivers or literally anything other than this. Chef is usually the second survivor that we unlock in this DLC. To unlock the Chef, we simply enter this green portal on the first stage, then head to this little crevice and donate the requested items. It's important to note that all donations do not need to be done in a single run, as they'll carry over, or just be reasonable and use Artifact of Command to get all the items in one run. Now that we have the Chef, we click on any other survivor, never touch this guy again. Chef is easily the worst survivor in this game, and I can't imagine it getting much worse. There's absolutely nothing of substance in this kit, and it feels awful to play. His M1 fires cleavers that return by left clicking again, like boomerangs. Unfortunately, these are capped, like Artificer's primary, and have a 0.5 proc coefficient. If you don't know what that means, it pretty much means that these items, which make up the majority of your DPS, only work about half the time.
But it hits the guy twice, so it balances out.
Look how fast I am shooting. This has a 1 proc coefficient, and people hate this guy. Sia is Chef's second ability, and this is the worst ability in the game. Maybe even franchise. It's the worst thing installed on my computer. Sia locks you out of your abilities and requires you to be this close to enemies to do this much damage. This ability will get you killed. This is the worst ability in the game. I hate this. Chef's next ability, Roll Around Like a is his mobility ability, as well as his main source of damage. Finally, Chef has Glaze, which is, well, inside, and
Yes, Chef!
which is yet another contender for the worst ability ever. Using this ability plays a little animation, and then your next attack is supercharged. Using this with cleavers causes you to shoot a lot of them, which does okay damage. Using this with Seer causes you to shoot fireballs, which is alright. Using this with dash causes you to spin around and stab stuff, doing extra damage, pretty mediocre. This little damage increase is on a 15-second cooldown, which in risk of rain time equates to 67 years. Chef is ass, and there's no debating it. Just do yourself a favor and pick another survivor. Oh, I also forgot, he gets a little health when he kills stuff. That's his passive. You probably won't even notice it. The False Sun is the secret character. This little guy should be the only reason for even buying this DLC. To unlock him, we'll have to complete the final boss whilst holding the seed. You need the seed. The False Sun can do anything, and it all stems from his passive ability. Lunar Tampering gives you attack speed and armor for every unused Lunar Spike, as well as speed and health for every used spike. What are Lunar Spikes, you ask? Well, that's his secondary attack. To start off with, we have 4 Lunar Spikes. You can shoot them to deal damage and apply a debuff called Lunar Ruin. This makes enemies take more damage, slows them, and it can stack. The fun thing about Lunar Spikes is that you get more of them depending on how much bonus health you have, or growth. After 5 years, Bison Stakes and Infusions are finally useful. Being able to choose between healing, armor, damage, and speed makes this character quite flexible and very, very powerful. The False Sun has a club that he can swing and slam. The slam's pretty good. I don't know what I'm meant to say. It's a giant slam that deals crazy damage and has a 3.0 proc chance. The False Sun's utility is a dash. It does damage, is omnidirectional, and you get 2 of them. This guy has 2 specials, but I want you to seriously think for a second. Give me one reason why I'd choose this single shot over the infinite range death beam. Laser burst is a fine ability, don't get me wrong, but can you see this damage? Literally, all you do, you hold R, aim at literally anything on the map, and just let go. Now it's gone. On top of that, this ability scales with Lunar Spikes. Huh? Literally, all you have to do is spam spikes, cripple anything, and laser it. At the time of recording, this guy's a little broken. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty damn fun. My only complaint? These animations. Like, look at this giant slam. There's no visual impact, and this laser, I can't even tell I'm shooting it. So, from just looking at the 3 characters, you might notice a little trend with this DLC. Everything in this DLC is entirely broken. It's either the most overpowered thing ever introduced to this game, or pure, utter trash. This trend continues with the items, adding some of the worst trash that has polluted the loot pool, being juxtaposed by the pure insanity of the pre-patch Cenarius Shell and my favorite baby, the Loot Star. Here's all 16 of them, ranked as either broken, it's alright, and broken. For example, Sonorous Whispers is a red that gives you a free item every time you kill a boss enemy, as well as a slight chance when you kill an elite. To the average Guilo, that may seem balanced, but play a run for more than 30 minutes, and you'll be raking in the items. Now let's look at this other red, War Bonds. This item gives you $75. And here's the Sail Star. Oh god, I love this item. Now here's the Antler Shield, which reflects 10% of the damage you take back onto the enemy. Now this may sound good, but remember, you usually have 1,000 health, whilst the enemies can go into the millions. This item serves no other purpose than tickling the enemy whilst making you look stupid. Did I mention that it only reflects damage 50% of the time? Well, that's just 4 of them. Read through the wiki and just see how awful or broken these items are. Finally, let's discuss the boss and stages. To start this, we got Shattered Abodes. This is a first stage, and I ain't got no complaints. It's just a pretty dope map. Helmin Thatchery is the second stage 5, and it gives a completely different vibe compared to Sky Meadow. This red hellish area is very different to the purples of Sky Meadow. This map is very steep, and you'll notice it. Have fun playing NG or Captain on this map. Okay, back to the boss. On stage 1, instead of rushing the portal, we're gonna interact with this green crystal looking thing. This will start a mini teleporter event, and will quickly start stealing your money. Simply fight off the stone golems, and once the shrine gets enough money, interact with it again to fight the new enemy, the Halionite. Kill it, enter the green portal, and now we're in the next stage. This is the Reformed Altar. Pretty cool map. You can also find the chef thing here. Quickly rush through the portal again, and now you're at Treeborn Colony. This map is small, that's all I gotta say. Enter the portal again, and we're on Prime Meridian, the final stage of this DLC. Throughout this stage, you're constantly getting spammed, so we gotta move fast. We're just gonna climb up this ramp that'll take us to the final boss, the False Sun. The final boss of this DLC is just a character I already covered. He's got the hammer, he's got the spikes, and obviously, the giant death laser. Like Mithrix, this guy has 3 stages. Stage 1's pretty average. I don't know if he can do the laser, but he swings, throws rocks at you, and yeah. Stage 2 starts to get a bit more heated. He's using the laser, and summoning so many rock people, it's crazy. And stage 3 is instant death. You're constantly getting bombed. The laser's now super powerful, and he can steal your abilities, requiring you to pop open these geodes to get them back. Oh, if you don't have any movement, then it's GG. Well, that's everything. I know I'm a month late, but exams are hard and I procrastinate. My last vid did really well, so I hope this video doesn't get like 3 views and then all my hopes and dreams are gone. But either way, I'll find more video games to talk about. Please subscribe and another video. Bye bye.